Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Stream Coach podcast. Today with me, I have Strike, newly renamed from Strike DM to Strike, who is a Twitch partner and is the general of the Strike Force. So we are very excited to have you here with us today, Strike. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, let's just start out this entire journey by talking about your streaming story. Can you tell us a little bit about like how you found Twitch and how you started streaming?
Yeah, sure. I found Twitch around the end of 2014, beginning of 2015, I think. And like I said, I think I made the account because a friend of a friend had like started streaming there a little from time to time, and we wanted to troll him. So I my online name for everything, which was my rap name forever ago because I'm old, was my rap name was Strike the Mic, right? So I shortened it to Strike DM. And then for like a year, I watched Twitch. In beginning, I really didn't like it. Like not, I don't know. I had a weird relationship to it. Something kept me coming back. But also I was like, why would I watch someone play video games when I can play them myself? But I kept coming back after all. And roughly a year later, I had a few of my favorite streamers made out, like 3 to 4 to 5 channels that I watch constantly. And I was like, I want to kind of try to do this. And I had like no exceptions. I just started playing Counter-Strike. The branding thing was basically because I noticed that everybody gave their community a name. You know, it's like it started with PewDiePie calling his viewers bros years ago. Everybody started giving their community a name. And I noticed that people called their followers or viewers the army or the squad. Something military was always in there if it wasn't family or something. I have military experience in Switzerland. I was in the army, and I did my time, and that's it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I did my time, and that's it. So I had some knowledge about how this stuff works and the ranks and everything, right? And yeah, I don't know. I guess I wanted to go over the top, go hardcore with it, go all out. If I do something military, I'll do everything military. I'll figure out how to do icons in chat. People have ranks with the watch time, and it evolved so much. Like the entire thing is military based. If you're the highest donor of the month, you get an actual dog tag, a metal dog tag, laser engraved with your name. There's patches you can win. There's now you know these ribbons people have on their uniforms when they're in the army. Like they have these huge colorful things on their chests. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like small versions of medals, right? We have ribbons now for achievements people make in stream, like 500 hours watched, 1,000 hours watched, that they actually get in a packaging, and just all out. And I kept going and got partnered in September of last year, and I'm still here.
Yeah, that's so weird how you went from like kind of disliking Twitch to now you're streaming and you're throwing a ton of effort and energy into it. What was that?
Yeah.
What made that change? Like, why did that happen?
It's hard to tell. Something kept me coming back. I've always been an entertainer. I like the limelight, I guess. I've always liked entertaining people. I've always loved video gaming ever since I was small. And I've always loved designing and coming up with systems and, you know, like coming up with a rank system and the icons for them. And just all the stuff like that was always something I really liked. So I felt like, oh, I looked at this and I was like, you know, I can play video games and talk to people. And maybe at some point, if I ever get viewers, I can pour all my design heart into this thing. And have a system that I follow, and like this military thing kind of gives me a vessel for this. So everything I do, I'm like, does this fit the brand? And that's fun. That's fun. So it's not just the gaming. It's mostly the communication with the crowd and this entire roleplay thing. And yeah, it's the design aspect of it is huge for me.
That's amazing. So we're definitely going to talk about branding and design and all of that here in just a little bit. Yeah. But the first thing that I really noticed, and I think a lot of people notice whenever they come to your stream is that you have just such an awesome camera presence. Like, it's very something that I say all the time, and I tell people all the time is like, yeah, like that. He just winked at the camera for those of you who are listening to this in the podcast. So I tell people all the time that like eye contact is huge. It has so much to do with connecting with people and growing an audience and making them feel trust in you, making them feel like they actually have that level of connection with you. So let's talk about that. Like, you've got really good eye contact. You're really engaging. You're very entertaining. Is this something that was super natural for you, or was there kind of like an awkwardness in the beginning because you had a camera on you?
Twitch wasn't the first time it was a one too many situation for me. I had stage gigs before I did a short period of stand-up comedy. So I can't say used and like music and stuff. I can't say used to being on stage. That's definitely not the case, but I liked doing it. So I think I always wanted to try to give viewers the feeling that I'm looking at them and talking to them. And when you talk to someone, like just imagine yourself saying hello to someone and giving them your hand, and they don't look at your face, that you instantly don't connect or even disconnect from that person. You instantly lose interest. You're instantly like, you have to connect, you have to look at each other. And I've also seen a lot of streamers back then that kind of never really looked at the camera. Never really looked into the camera, and I, in some ways, I understand, because it's a camera. It's a dead piece of technology, but you have to treat, in my opinion, you have to treat it like it was the person looking at you, like it was the collective face looking at you, and because it's personal, because it builds connection, and like if I'm standing with a few friends and I make a joke that's with someone but directed at someone else, the kind of joke where I'm like looking at this person but I'm like this. If you do this on stream, it builds connection, and this is incredibly important. So yeah, the stage thing definitely helped. There's also a huge difference between being on a stage and streaming on Twitch, even though it's to an audience, both of them. It's scary, actually. When you're on stage, you get instant response. Like you crack a joke or whatever, you instantly get a laugh, or you don't get a laugh, or you can like do call and response, whatever. You can't do that on Twitch, and that was new to me. That was extremely new to me as soon as I had a few viewers. And back then, you easily had like 20 or 30 seconds of delay, easily. So I was like, so what do you think, guys?
Yeah, just waiting forever for the response. It's so weird.
And that's what we call streamer brain. And then you say something else because specifically you don't want to wait until you get responses. Mm-hmm. And then you've already said 3 new things, and then you get responses to the first thing you said. And then you're like, what?
Yeah, you get really confused. It really like.
What do you mean red?
It makes it so difficult to like keep up with a conversation whenever it's just so all over the place and fragmented like that. Conversations are drawn out like 3 times longer than they should be. So what would be your advice if you think, because I completely agree with you. I think eye contact is massive. I think that being able to connect with people, a big part of that is making them feel like you're actually coming through the screen and you're in their lives, right? And you're not just like some weird person on a camera that's playing a video game and not really trying to interact with them at all.
I'm totally not that.
I know, yeah, you're not that at all, which I really love. So how does someone transition from being a person who is just playing a game and not really looking in their camera, doesn't really have much of a presence? How does someone develop that on-screen charisma?
Oh, that's a rough one, because I feel you have to bring it with you already a little somehow. You have to. I feel like you have to be a natural entertainer already if you want to be an entertainer. If you just want to play video games and have a talk, which is legit content, which is fine, then that's cool. But if you really want to go for, I want to make people laugh, like I want to be entertaining, I want to go over the top, I want to be weird, I want to be funny, I want to be emotional, you have to somewhat bring that. I think you have to bring a certain affinity to acting, maybe that would help. If you're not naturally a low energy person, it's also very obvious that you're not when you try to be. It's extremely obvious. Anybody who has a good has kind of like this good grasp on analyzing the people in front of them will instantly notice, and everybody else will notice without consciously noticing, because people are like that. If you overhype, you're cringe, and then nobody watches. So this is one of those overused pieces of advice that people give, but it's like, be yourself, you know. But it's actually true. Be yourself. Like, don't try to play someone you're not. Of course, I play a role with the general. I don't speak like this usually. I don't give people orders, but it's a role, you know. And when I started out, I actually tried to go all the way with it, like people like Dr. Disrespect do now, 100% all the time when I'm live. And after 2 or 3 weeks, I already noticed that that's not my thing, man. Like, I can't pull this off. And yeah, and then I got emotional when I got they made a birthday video for me, I think, my viewers, and that got me emotional. So obviously the general never cries, so that already killed everything. Like, thanks for that. Basically start a new role. No, but yeah, it's really try to find something that makes you comfortable first. If you're not the super quirky, constantly energetic person, you know, that's fine. It's fine. It's we have to really this is something that I have struggled with for a long time. We're going into the darker the thing now with my own mental health and everything. But streaming has brought me down a lot when I expected so much from it and it didn't happen. And how should I put this? Having good content, like making good content, being fine with your content, just being fine on Twitch, and being successful on Twitch is not always the same thing. People tend to think that as long as they're not successful, as long as they don't have more and more and more and more and more viewers, what they do is not good. It doesn't matter. What you do has first and foremost be something you like to do, and ideally you stop the stream and you're like, that was fun, I feel good, this was, I don't know, an outlet, this was, what do you want to call it, Ashni? An outlet or
Just a hobby.
Yeah, hobby. This felt good. Of course, it's a different thing when you're a professional streamer, but only few people are. So first and foremost, it's yourself. Make sure that you are comfortable with who you are on the camera, with the role you play if you play one, and everything else is secondary. Everything else either happens or it doesn't, but as long as you feel fine, it is fine.
I love that. And that's such a good call out, because a lot of people feel so attached to the numbers whenever it comes to figuring out like what success actually is, right? Like, we don't all have to be ninja level. We don't all have to have thousands of viewers and subscribers and all of that to feel successful or to be successful. There's absolutely a place for people of all different types of streaming goals and desires to stream on Twitch. And there's also absolutely an ability for people to be successful without having hundreds and hundreds or thousands of viewers as well. I definitely agree with you. Like, success comes from how you're being fulfilled, and if you're being fulfilled from streaming, I consider that to be successful, like regardless of the viewership size. I think if you're doing it just as a hobby and you don't care about the numbers but you feel good about it, that's successful. That's great. Success doesn't have to mean that you have these freaking massive numbers. I love that so much, and it's such a good mindset to have, because then you're like, the numbers don't negatively impact you and detract energy from your cast. But speaking of energy during a stream, that's something that like you're really good about, is you bring a ton. You are so energetic. And something that is a very like questionable thing that I see a lot is people that like title their streams like chill stream, or they'll be very relaxed and quote unquote chill on camera, and it just so let's talk about that versus the benefit of bringing more energy to your cast. Do you feel like one is better than the other and attracts more people?
Well, there's an instrumental difference between bringing people to your chat or bringing people to your stream and keeping them. The bringing people thing is a completely different thing, and what brings people in is like, you know, a good title, an attractive thumbnail. Being attractive brings people in as well, because this is entertainment business, and the attractive people have a better going at the entertainment business. It's always been like that. But keeping people is where the difference lies. Keeping people is where the content you make has to speak to people. So it's the same thing. If somebody likes a chill stream where they can hang out, they can have it playing in the background while they do something else, they will not stick around with the general of the strike force who barks orders into the microphone every time somebody dissents in chat. And also he couldn't take being a member of the strongest force in the universe, so maybe he's not in the right place there. But no, the point is that the chill vibe thing, I guess everybody has realized that a lot of viewers don't actively watch when you stream, but they have it on in the background, kind of like a podcast. And they don't necessarily chat, which is fine. You know, there's lurkers and there's people who just keep it in the back while they work or do something else or play a video game. So they use the word chill to say that, hey, there's not a lot of like hypey stuff going on here. You can just keep this running. You can have an easy Sunday afternoon. You can wind down after work, which is fair, which is fine. If you feel like that's the kind of content you want to make, then designate it as such. If you want to be hype, if you want to have a party on your stream, designate it as such. The people say nobody reads stream titles, which may or may not be true, but I still think your stream title is part of the kind of business card situation that you have on Twitch when you're on browse. Make it snappy, make it precise, make it short, make it concise, and make someone understand what you're trying to do here from the get-go. Don't say we're going crazy. We're going crazy for our first 5 chicken dinners tonight, and then you're sitting there like, oh.
Yeah, just being very relaxed.
Yeah, like that's just, and it goes into so many things that are basically almost every little bit of advice in communication that goes towards, you know, body language, posture, like eye contact, smiling when you speak. All of that goes for streaming, as long as if you have a camera on yourself specifically, but also without a camera, because you hear a smile in the voice. That's kind of besides the point. But about the chill thing, do what you want to do. If you want to do chill, do chill. I usually do high level stuff, and then on Sundays when I personally actually also feel somewhat, oh god, it's Monday tomorrow, I do something chill. I play with my subs every second weekend, and then we just hang out and just play Minecraft or something else. And usually it's chill. We just talk a lot, and then something funny happens, which makes it flare up a little, and then it goes a little chill again. It's like that, you know.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely think that you don't want to kind of clickbait people, right? You don't want to like assume that you can keep up high energy and make that your stream title, and then you're like, I can't do this during the stream, and people come in expecting energy and they just don't get that. They get something very relaxed. So definitely following through on the things that you say you're going to follow through on is really important for building trust and growing an audience. Yay.
Exactly.
So aside from high energy, something else that I noticed is you switch up your scenes a lot. Like your scenes are very dynamic. Your broadcast is like a production, right? It's really awesome. So talk to me about that. Why did you choose to do that? And then do you feel like it's really important?
It's not important per se, because my absolute bottom line belief is that everybody should make the content they want to. There is no, oh, do this and be successful, because almost no thing you tell people to do works for everyone. There's a few basic level rules. You can say, okay, you basically almost have to do this, or you should try this, and maybe it's something you like and that vibes with the content you make and helps you be successful. Like the stuff you do in your videos or your streams that are incredibly good. By the way, I watched a few.
Aw, thank you.
No, it's really good. It's really good material. Also deviates from the, oh, do the same 3 things over and over again. Yay,
Yeah.
it works for Ninja, because it never works for anyone. Yeah. And I don't know. Like I just wanted, from the get-go, I wanted to look as professional as I can without having professional material. By now I do. Like my webcam is an actual micro four thirds camera on a capture card. My mic is what they have in radio stations. It's a Shure SM7B and so on and so on. So with the scenes and everything, I wanted to go the same way. I wanted to be able to use everything at my disposal to further the comedy, to further the fun part of it, you know, being it like quickly changing scenes when there's music or when I dance or something, or whenever somebody follows, I'm like, welcome to the Strike Force, the strongest force in the universe. Your new general bids you sit down, back straight, have fun, soldier. And the camera goes, sit down, back straight, have fun, soldier. And I don't know, I just feel that makes it a little more special, a little more outstanding, a little more personal, a little more myself, because I am somewhat hyperactive when I feel good. So.
Yeah, and that comes across, I think, as like really entertaining to watch. Well, sometimes I feel like in person, seeing people who are really animated and like really hyperactive, you can kind of be like, oh my gosh, that is, whoa, calm down. But whenever you see it on camera, it's entertainment. It is so neat to watch somebody who has that level of energy, because not a lot of people do, or maybe some people want to, and so they go to those streams where they're getting that passion and that energy, and someone's on their soapbox just like screaming to the world, hey, we're awesome, yes, and they have that confidence. Confidence is so big for content creation. Yeah.
It's like, again, it all boils down to the same rules that go for human interaction on the street or in a group of friends. Almost everything that works there works on Twitch. Almost everything. If you're confident, if you like make fun, if you have a good sense of auto irony, of self irony, you know how to make fun of yourself, which works really well for me with the general thing, because the general never fails. So when he fails, oh no, you know, he hasn't failed, or I try to make some stupid joke of it or something. But it's just really important to show people that you want to connect with them as kind of like the person you are, even if you're playing a role. You know, in the end, even if you're playing a role, you bring a lot of your personality into that role, specifically for something you do years and years and years on end. And when you stream, it's a 3 to 4 to 5 hour constant scene. There is no action, 5-second scene, cut. Action, 5-second scene, cut. You're constantly on the camera. So at some point, I guess most people start to lose that 100% dedication to their role a little, which happened really early for me, but bless you.
Thank you. I tried to mute during that. I hope
I
got it.
Mute,
okay, good.
I just saw it on the thing.
Oh, thank you. So polite.
Oh, well, I'm Swiss. We're very reserved and milady. No, but constantly on cameras, don't pick your damn nose. Yeah, Alstro, that's my mistake. No, basically, when you're trying to when you're talking to people on stream, be yourself, first of all, like be the person you feel comfortable with. Secondly, imagine if I saw this guy in front, like just entertaining 5 or 6 people in front of a bar, would I like that? Or would I be like, oh, cringe, this guy's trying to be in the limelight? Or would you be like, oh, this guy's a natural entertainer? To try to steer the personality you have on camera a little bit into that direction of what you think would grasp your attention, but not too much, because we tend to, in search of higher numbers, not be very true to ourselves and not be very nice to ourselves as a result. I have a lot of experience with that. So that's really important in my opinion.
What was your experience like with that, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, ever since, like even before I got partnered, I grew quite quickly. And that sparked this, oh damn, I might be good at this. You know, I kind of want to get this somewhere. Maybe I can make this my job one day. And then I got partnered, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening, you know. And then I kind of, because I had comparatively low numbers for a partner when I got partnered. I got partnered because of the brand, because of the technological thing I do, and all that stuff. Um, and I started having this pressure in my head saying, now you have to like show you're valuable. You have to show your worth in the face of this tick that you're now wearing. And that, in the long run, I'm not gonna like go into every personal thing here, but in the long run, this hurt me more than it helped me, because it made me, every little decision that I wanted to make for the stream was, will this be popular? Will this get me views? And it wasn't, do I feel like that anymore now? And I feel that probably also came through, because like I said, people noticed that, and then you lose a few regulars. It also got together with the point that I had a mod whom I considered my friend, I thought, who began to stop talking to me course of 1 or 2 months. And then I got partnered, and then they sent me a pretty big paragraph that was quite intense, from you suck as a person to you don't deserve this, and so on and so on. And that really fed into this, oh man, maybe I do not deserve that tick. And at some point I started trying to work on never looking at numbers again, and just feeling okay with what I do again, and knowing and being a valuable content creator on Twitch and Twitch partner. And I know I am. I just have to be able to get this dark little cloudy voice in my head that says, no, you're not, away from the front of my head a lot. But that's something that also feeds into my, depression. Anyway, so I'm not going to go into that much deeper, but it's the mental health thing is huge for me, which is also why a long time ago I tried to start a streamer self-care group, which I got like 4 or 5 people in there that want to help, but I never really like pushed it on because I had other stuff to do. I got to do that, actually.
Yeah. That dialogue is like, it's so needed. There are a lot of amazing mental health creators on Twitch.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there's like a resource that is specifically meant for streaming, because so much of this is mindset. It's soft skills. It's the place that you are at. It's your self-confidence. It's like that deep-seated sense of fulfillment and self-worth, and how you can actually get that from content that is judged based on the amount of people that it can bring to it, right? Like, we're judged so much by the numbers. Sometimes it's hard to distance yourself from those, and so many people struggle with that. I did for a long time as well, so you're definitely not alone. But thank you for sharing that with us. I know that it can be hard to share those kind of stories, but I at the same time think that it's so necessary to talk about them too.
They are. I've become quite outspoken about it, because I feel like, if I've had a few viewers over the course of my almost 3 years, well, 2.5 years, who like sent me DM after a stream or something saying, hey, I'm going through a rough patch right now, and your content helps me and makes me feel okay and makes me laugh. And then you realize, like, man, like, there's a lot of people in our generation with that kind of problem. And then when you start talking to other streamers, mental health issues seem rampant amongst the creative cast, so to speak, amongst creative people in general, not just streamers, but most streamers, specifically successful streamers, definitely, but every streamer is basically in their heart somewhere a creative person. And we seem so prone to mental health issues, so I thought maybe it might be a good idea, I think I'm not sure if I shared that with you a while ago, but if I ever get this up and running, would you allow me to talk to you? Maybe you want to partake?
Yeah, of course. I would absolutely
Cool.
like. I'd come in with the retweets, like some fat retweets on that kind of thing for sure.
Cool.
That's
Nice,
so
nice,
necessary.
nice.
Absolutely. So,
Thank you.
um, let's go ahead and jump into just the branding conversation because I know we don't have a ton of
Okay.
time left, and that is something that we really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So, man, it's hard to transition away from like such a heavy topic to such a
I'm
lighthearted one.
sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
Let's
Because
think about. Let's think about. I don't know.
well,
Cats in neon pants.
yeah, cats in neon pants. It's so cute.
And imagine them
Oh my
being
god.
thick, like thick,
Thick cats with a booty.
with the booty.
Cats with the
I'm
cats
telling
with
you.
a booty.
Booty.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm really glad that we got to talk about the mental health stuff though, for sure. It's so
Yeah.
necessary. We'll have to have some kind of like little mental health roundtable episode of this
Absolutely.
podcast for sure.
Absolutely.
So, okay. You mentioned this a little bit earlier, but everything on your stream is related to the military. Like everything. It's wild.
Yeah.
All of the things that you do, all of the little sound effects that you have when someone subscribes, the stuff that you wear during your stream. You have this little like hat and the ribbons on your shirt. You've got a
Uniform,
good background. You've got the graphics, all of it. So,
I took it off because now it's I just
Aw.
got renamed this week, but I'm probably gonna give this one away amongst my community at some
oh, that's
point. so-
cool. That's so awesome. Well, let's discuss branding then. Like, what
Yeah.
what is branding in the context of streaming?
I feel, and that goes for every streamer, no matter whether they're chill or hype or whatever else we talked about, it is key. That is a personal opinion. There will be someone else saying, as long as you're just good to your community, it'll be fine. But I feel without a properly branded stream, this might be not very popular for me to say, but it's boring. It's just boring. And the first thing that, like, if I have someone ask me for advice, the first thing I tell them is, what is wrong with you? Why would you ask me? No, that's not true. The second thing is I tell them to get back in line and give me 20. That's also not true. But what I actually tell them is, don't be another person in front of a camera staring at a screen, playing a video game, and sometimes commenting on it. That's it. Come up with something that sets you apart. And the most important thing is you don't even have to have like a name, or you have to be a role that you play. But the most important part of this is cohesion. Make it cohesive. Make sure everything fits together. For example, Ashley, what I noticed about your stuff and what I really, really like is, for your intro on the YouTube videos, for transition in the YouTube videos, and for your intro in the stream videos, you use the same song every time. Am I right?
Yes.
That's good. I think that's good.
Yay!
I think that's good.
We're doing
Because
it, team.
I now link this song in my head to you. If I hear this song as a musical person as well, I link this to you instantly. I'm like, oh wait, isn't that Ashley? And then Ashley's on my head. What branding does basically is it has a few functions. First of all, if somebody sees something about your brand anywhere, they think of you. What you want people to do, if you're a content creator, is to have people think of you as often as possible. So this retention, this awareness retention, brand awareness is what we call it, is as strong as possible. I'm going to give away a little secret here that I've never told my viewers, but the fist I have in my logo is a fist that is not exactly like one that you instantly find when you Google fist icon, but close, because I changed it a slight little bit to not have legal issues. Maybe I can show it. If
Cool,
you see.
Yeah.
But it's a fist you find everywhere on Google. I've had people send me pictures of like posters on the street for an event or for something political or whatever with that fist on it and be like, hey, yo, the strike force on their minds.
Nice. Yeah.
That is one thing that it does. The second thing is people know what to expect. No matter what I play, no matter what I say, I'm the general, they're my soldiers, they have a rank. I say the same few things when something happens. It makes people feel comfortable. People are not naturally prone to change, so it makes people feel comfortable. Thirdly, as somebody who loves to be creative on as many outlets as possible, it gives me an easy way to be creative. Like, I was like, oh damn, I wanted to I'm gonna make t-shirts, you know. What do you put on a t-shirt? You could put anything on a t-shirt. What are you gonna put on it? Okay, I don't know, one of my emotes or like my logo, and that's it. With the Strikeforce thing, and also the piece of lore, I'd say, that we came up with during a stream, that our mortal enemy is called Lars, which is a long story. You know, that gave me more ideas for example, for t-shirts or for things to say. Something goes wrong in the stream, Lars. You know, I don't know. He's sending us his sleeper agents again. Fight back, soldiers, or whatever, and that hypes people up again. Also, I went with the military thing specifically because even though I wasn't the biggest fan of my time in the army, it gave me a feeling of familiarity and of being on one team and having to stick together no matter what, that I almost never had in my life. So I kind of hoped to bring that into Twitch a little as well, by really going off with that stuff. How does someone develop a strong brand? Take pride and joy in the creative process. Give yourself time. Before you stream, actually sit down and figure out, what am I going to call my viewers? What am I going to say for a sub? What is my colors palette? Like, okay, my light is going really weird. I'm sorry. What is my color palette? What do I call the subs? How often do I play with my subs? That stuff is really important. And you know, for example, you again, your color palette is this lime green, white, black, everywhere. And what's the font called? Do you know that?
Hang on, I'm trying to think. I think it's Bebas New, which is the one that Twitch uses for their branding as well.
Ah, nice. Okay. I've always used one called Furore because it looks like future military style. And now for smaller text, I use a similar one that's just a little lighter and still sans serif, that is called Electrolyze. But I use these two fonts everywhere. And see, you know the name of your font, and you know that Twitch uses it. So you thought about what font you use. See?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is so important. Because when you use the same fonts in the same colors all over your content, it's the same thing with somebody seeing your logo. They see that somewhere and they're like, oh, hey, isn't that ASHNI? Isn't that Strike? And that goes into it. It's really hard to say how to develop a strong brand because everybody's brand is different. Everybody concentrates on different aspects of their brand. I'd personally say sit down for a day or two, really consider who you want to be, what you want to do, what your stuff should look like. If you're not that good at that, take the time to talk to a professional. There's a lot of budding graphic artists out there who do good work for a fair price that is not asked too much. And go from there. You know, if you explode, you can still invest more money into more emotes, sicker graphics, an intro video. I'm in the lucky position that most of the stuff that I make myself because I have graphic design experience. Basically, the only thing right now that I didn't do myself is the actual animation of the logo, the 3D animation of the logo falling together that I use in the intro. That was made by a friend because he's a professional 3D animator. but everything else, the editing of it, everything was done myself. The music video I made for the song that we have on YouTube and Spotify and not Insta, and iTunes and stuff, which is a inside joke that started when during a stream with a friend, made that myself. The intro, made that myself. Special streams have a special intro always, like for 24-hour streams, of which I usually do one per year, are called War on Lars. Made myself. We're making our own bot right now that is gonna, I mean, this sounds a little arrogant, but it is going to do stuff that nobody's ever seen on Twitch. Ever, period. We just have to get it done first. And I really believe in doing as much as you can yourself, because only you know how it's supposed to look. If you're not inherently a creative person, then you're gonna have to talk to an artist and spend money on it. But make sure your stuff looks cohesive from the get-go. Have good overlays in place. Have a system of when you use what overlay in place. I'm personally not an advocate of just sitting down and just trying, you know, and just add this in a week and then add this another week. I try to, if I change my design, I try to do it all in once and then have like a huge launch party for it. Because whenever you can be like, this is a special stream because something special happens, every time you can do something like that, do it. I don't know, be it your stream anniversary, partner anniversary. I got new branding. I got a new name. Okay, I didn't do this one that big this time, so I kind of fell off my own rule. But I guess be concise, believe in your brand, get some hints from the pros if you don't know what you're doing, and make sure it's unique to yourself.
That's perfect
I talk
advice.
way too much.
No, you don't at all. It actually makes you a really good podcast guest, because that's what it's all about. Honestly, you want the guest to be the one that's chatting the most. So that's amazing. We've got like quite a few questions in chat. So we're going to transition into our Q&A portion now. However, while everyone else is like typing out their questions, I'm going to ask you my last one, which is, what is your number one piece of streaming advice?
Put yourself first and put your well-being and the fun that you're having with it first. Know that if you're ever at the point where you're like, I can't go anymore now, I feel like I don't want to be on Twitch anymore, looking like thinking about streaming tonight is not, oh yeah, I'm looking forward, but oh God, no. Stop. Take a break. Or even quit, end the career. That is not failure. It's not failure. It's just that this is not for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you. You come first. I had to learn this the very hard way, and I'm still struggling with it. I'm still making my way up there. But you come first. And if you're like, oh no, but a success is in numbers. Yeah. And if you don't put yourself first, you'll also not be successful in numbers, because your viewers will smell something's wrong. Even though they can't put their finger, their thumbs on it, something is wrong. They'll notice it, and it'll bring them down, and they will not return, because they watch Twitch to be entertained. They watch Twitch for something good. Yeah, I didn't. Don't put so much on numbers. I didn't get partnered because of my numbers. That was before the entire achievement thing, of course, where nobody knew how many you should have to be partnered. But I specifically got partnered because somebody at Twitch thought I was really cool, and then I met that person and they recited my tagline to me in the same voice that I do. And then they said, hey, let's just see what happens. And a few weeks later it happened. When I got home drunk at 3 a.m. and I had an email in my inbox that said, we're inviting you to the Twitch partner program. Which is amazing, but it's not why you should do it. People have this, even though they would say, oh, no, I don't believe that. There seems to be this weird misconception around people that if you're a partner, you've like, in success, in numbers, you've made it. Like if you're a partner, you automatically get more viewers. That just means you have more viewers. That is not true. That is not true at all. Sometimes you get less viewers because people come in and, I don't know, say you've been having a wrong month, or you've been taking a break of a month or two, and so your numbers went right, and now you go back to streaming, you're a Twitch partner and you have 15 viewers, 13 viewers. something, people will come in and see that tick, and some of them will be like, okay, so this guy must have become crap. I'm out, and not even give you the time of day. I guess the number one streaming advice is yourself is first, always. This is a simple thing to say. It sounds good. It sounds nice. Can I do another one, streaming advice?
Yeah, of course.
This is also going to be unpopular, but not everyone is your friend. I have had countless people who were like, oh, you know, Strike DM, oh, one of the coolest guys I know on Twitch. And then they exploded and got way more viewers than me, and they did not know me anymore. This will happen to you if you take this seriously and you make friends on Twitch, which is incredibly important to network and make actual friends, not contacts, but actual friends. This will happen to you, and know that this is, unfortunately, this is part of it. Content creation and entertainment is a lot of nice shiny gold on top, but it's a very, very thin layer that can be scratched away with just one little scratch of a nail, and it can be very, very disgusting below. So make friends, stick with them, make sure you make friends whom you'd actually hang out with in real life as well, and look out for them. But don't be used. Don't let yourself be used. Don't jump for every little sponsorship that people throw at you. There is no number one advice, you know. And never, ever, ever cross the general of the strike force or a member of the strike force anywhere you see them. Never raise your weapon towards them on the battlefield. Never fail to salute them, because they are the strongest force in the universe, and you will bleed if you don't. That is all.
It's so good. See, you gotta end on the strong brand, right? The strong branding there.
A little.
I love it. It's so much good information there, though. Like, I could unpack literally everything you just said in the last like couple of minutes and turn it into another hour, 2 hour long conversation. It's just so much. But we do have a couple.
Before we go into the questions, just one thing. I'm sorry.
You're good.
You're yes.
Yes.
I wrote an article for GameWisp. Some of you might know GameWisp. Those of you who were around a little earlier when affiliates weren't a thing and only partners had sub buttons. GameWisp used to give people sub buttons who didn't have one on Twitch. They expanded, and I wrote an article for them on self-care. And a little branding and stuff. So I don't know, maybe that's something that people would be interesting to read. I don't know if
we can
give you the link. Or...
I mean, I can leave a link for that down below in the show notes for the podcast. And then if somebody that is watching this during the live stream right now wants to go and grab that link and post it in chat for everyone, that would be awesome.
All right.
Okay. Do you want to transition into Q&A now?
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Perfect. No, you're good. You're totally good. So the first question was from Jay Brucifer, and he would hurt me and completely disown me if I didn't ask you this. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
What?
Yes. I'm sorry. Pancakes.
Interview
Pancakes
over. Interview over. Done. Right. Get out of here. Nice. Bye. See you later. Yeah, bye. Man, I'm totally on Team Waffle, though.
Yeah, waffles are dope, though. I mean, I don't dislike waffles. Can't, because I got a huge sweet tooth, which also means I got a huge belly, which nicely you can see. Because up to here, I don't have a thick face, you know, even though I'm slightly overweight. So up to here, I look like this guy's buff, like the general. You know? And then I stand up, and people are like, oh.
You're the general, though. You have abs, okay? They can't see them. They don't know.
It's below my naturally grown armor plating.
Yeah, exactly. So our second question is actually really good. Let me see if I can find it again. I believe it was from Alzrael.
Core viewer.
Yeah, I can tell. It was, I believe, the chat one. Yo, where is it? So the question basically was, whenever you are looking into the camera and you're trying to like connect emotionally and develop that level of trust with a viewer, how do you balance that, but also not miss chat as chat is going by?
Oh, that's one of the hardest ones on Twitch. This not just on Twitch, like in all streaming services. This also highly depends on how many viewers you have, and also how many active chatters you have. You can have 600 viewers by numbers, but you can have 5 people who talk. I have a pretty huge setup. I have a 27-inch screen here. I have a 24 here, and I have a 40 up here. And the 40 up here, yeah, it's huge. That's what she said.
Hey!
And the 40, hey! The dick joke. No, but the 40 up here is basically this is my streaming. I'm an idiot. It's my streaming monitor. It's my second streaming PC is connected to this one when I stream, and all the stuff. I have a lot of software. Some of it we wrote ourselves. This is where it's running. So I keep the chat as close to the camera as possible. So I have almost only like two focal points that I need to look at. Game, somewhere up here. If I don't exactly look at the camera right now, like I'm doing right now, if I'm this small in the lower right of the screen, I still look like I'm looking at the camera. But I could be looking at chat like that. So I can talk, and that's another talent that you maybe have to have. I can talk and still read at the same time, keep it in my head, and respond as soon as I'm done talking. Yeah, I guess with the size that I have, sometimes I just try to, memorize like key things people say and respond to them. But I'll openly admit that I'm probably one of the worst people on Twitch when it comes to nicely going through chat and answering everyone's questions. Even though I want to so much, I'm just really bad at it. I do my best.
Honestly, I feel like sometimes the pressure to keep up with literally every single comment that's coming through your chat detracts from your broadcast. I think people that, like, if they try to respond to literally every single thing all the time, then you're not really like going with the flow and keeping with the value that's being served. You can detract from the value that you're serving people because you're trying to go through every single question. I think that if you're a smaller creator and you have like a smaller community where it's easy and your chat's not that active, it's easy for you to see everything. Maybe in that situation, it's fine because you still need to kind of learn that solo monologue or how to entertain, like all of that side of stuff. But also at the same time, at some point, you're going to have to realize that you just can't catch everything. If you're growing or if your chat's getting more active, like you just can't. So having that, setting that expectation or setting that boundary of like, hey, I'm not going to be able to catch everything. If there's something really important and you post it and I miss it, feel free to just like repost it in the chat. Or, and some of the time too, like the things that you call out in your chat, the things that you bring attention to, you're validating. It could be something negative. It could be that you're validating a conversation that you don't want to happen on the stream because it could be really negative and detract from the value again. So you want to ignore some things. And I think a lot of people, especially like smaller creators, they feel bad for that because they're like, I want every single person to feel like I see them and like but at the same time you just can't.
That goes into another piece of advice is no matter how many viewers you have, I remember when I was like a lot smaller, that if somebody started acting out or unloading their bad day on everyone else, that I had a hard time just putting my foot down straight up and banning them because I was like, oh, like I'm banning one of my few viewers. I might never get them back. And frankly, I'm still a little like that, of course, especially when it's old school people who suddenly, without expectation, act out, which gladly for me almost never happens. But take no ish. Take no ish from anyone. If they act out, time them out, ban them, whatever your rule is. If it happens, it happens, and you have to put the foot down. If you don't, your rules will not be respected anymore.
Absolutely. It's weird to think like you have to be a jerk sometimes, but you have to like set those boundaries. And some people that don't know the context of the entire situation of what's happened up to the point where you're like, crap, I have to ban this person, they might come into your stream and that's the first interaction with you that they have, is seeing you like get on your soapbox and be like, listen, I have to ban you, I'm sorry. And it might be a turnoff for some people, but I think at the same time you've got to protect the people that are positively contributing to the community. Those are your number ones, and they always should be. And if someone's detracting from that, like, get those stinkers out of there, get them on out,
man,
because they're just detracting. Get out. Hyperion asked, I think we all can agree that streamers inevitably lose viewers when they switch games. If you're a main game streamer, how do you mentally prepare for the loss when switching? This is something I'm going through right now. Whew.
Oh, I think you can't, man. I think you can't. It's a fact on Twitch that people who play one game and one game only, and then as an effect play it well, grow much quicker than variety streamers. Much quicker. Oh my god. So have no expectations. I would actually say, Hyperion, don't look at the numbers. Really force yourself to not look at numbers during the stream, and maybe even after the streams for a few weeks at least. When you do it, really just concentrate on what you're doing and having a good time. You'll already notice the difference in chat. Chat will be less active, but try not to take it personally, because people want to watch a game, and it's not there anymore. Try not to take it personally. This doesn't mean that they don't like you. They only like the game, but they just value the game more than the person playing it. And some people just are like that. But if you start doing heavy variety and you have people who come back almost every time, which I luckily do, there's a nice feeling of, hey, I can basically play whatever I believe in, whatever I feel like playing. And these people are here for me, not because I play game X, which is amazing, which is a wonderful feeling. So if you're going into variety, it's going to be rough. You're not going to grow that much, or maybe plateau for a while, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And if you switch to another game that's going to be your main game, it's kind of like just starting out afresh. You know, you've already been there. You're a Twitch partner. You know the drill. Just keep playing, keep going, and it'll go up again, just with a new audience. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's the like unfortunate realities whenever you build yourself out in a directory, that sometimes people do just come for the game. Like those types of viewers absolutely exist on Twitch, and I think it would be dumb of us to try and say that like we want every single person that watches us forever and always to watch us regardless of what we are playing, because that's just not going to happen. But I do think that like if you're wanting to transition, a big part of it is just putting more of yourself into your broadcast, which you talked about earlier in the stream, like not being a person who's just playing the game and talking about the game, and all of your value is the fact that you're playing that game, and that's the main value and the main like reason people are coming to you, is because you're talking about that with them, and it's one of their interests as well, so they feel like that's the only thing that you have in common. But if you're talking about your life and you're talking about your beliefs and inserting all of that stuff into your content too, and very, very heavily, you pull attention away from the game and you become the main focus of the stream. And the more people get to know you as the creator, and you find that common ground, those like, oh, me too moments, people will feel like you're their friend. They have something in common with you, and they'll be more likely to stick around regardless of what you're playing. But I think like, you know, that's the unfortunate reality that we have to all know. When you switch over, like you're basically starting over if you haven't really built up enough of yourself into your broadcast.
It's not a fair industry.
Yeah.
It's not a fair industry. I'm unfortunately going to have to pull the plug here. I'm sorry. My train goes in a few minutes. But Ashni, I thank you so very much for having me. I've been excited for this for days now. I hope people had fun watching. I hope you have fun conversing with me, and I hope people got a little bit from it. If I can do the necessary plug in the end, everybody who had a question for me that I haven't been able to answer, I have a Discord. I'm on Twitter. Basically, you find everything via my own URL. If you go to strike.vg as in video game /Discord, you get to my Discord. If you go to strike.vg /Twitter, you get to my Twitter, or you just go to Twitter StrikeForceGen as in Strikeforce General. My DMs are open. If you have a question, hit me up. Make sure to join the Strike Force. It's going to be the most important decision of your life, because you're going to fight for a purpose and die with honor, and you will die on the battlefield, but we're going to make sure it's not that soon. Thank you very much for having me. It was an absolute blast. I love doing this kind of stuff. And if you ever want me again, Ashni, I am down. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again. We'll definitely have to do like a mental health episode at some point.
Yeah.